Why is Donald Trump's man crush on Vladimir Putin dangerous? Let us count the ways. Given Mrs. Clinton's sag in the polls the last couple of weeks, David Harse and I brings up this topic again to reinforce why there should be no votes for Donald Trump any more than for Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump admires Russian dictator Vladimir Putin's strength and great control over his country. Constitution, anyone? Nah, that doesn't enter the equation, does it? So naturally, conservative supporters like Hugh Hewitt, Dinesh D'Souza, and many others felt compelled to praise the strength of the Russian dictator, especially when compared with Barack Obama. Now, first of all, remember that when Trump's con game is over, you'll still be one of the people who defended an authoritarian thug. Then again, this growing Putin admiration among conservatives probably reflects two dynamics. The first, which we've seen on numerous fronts in this election, is the corrosive effect this Republican, quote-unquote, nominee has on the principles and long-held beliefs of conservatives in general. Not conservatives, because any conservative is never Trump. Rationalizing your nominee's heresies isn't unique. It's conventional behavior from partisans in every election and every political party. What makes 2016 different is that conservatives find themselves outside their comfort zone, sometimes taking positions that contradict 40 years of philosophical positioning, and across the board, too. Not just one issue here and there, but across the board. And that Trump's stances don't oscillate, they thrust in unknowable directions all the time, oftentimes more than once a day. Keeping up can make a partisan look more like a shady apparatchik, hence the term conservative. The second, far more concerning aspect of this trend is that love for Putin likely reflects a genuine, once latent shift among Republican voters. There's a lot of talk about how elites and the ruling class have led the nation to a candidate like Trump. It seems to me that in many ways, Trump's fans pine for their own muscular ruling class. If you can't beat them, join them. Cult of personality. Well, if you're a fan of unaccountable plutocrats, you'll love Putin's Russia. Some conservatives try to couch their appreciation for Putin's potency in relativistic terms. You know, he's done what's right for his country. He fights for Russia's interests, etc. Who are we to judge, right? No, that's not right. Why would any allegedly freedom-loving conservative allow a dictatorial ruler to define what love of country means anywhere? Principle? Wouldn't a conservative maintain that the fundamental interest of any people to be freer and more prosperous, which in turn makes them safer and less bellicose, are universal? It's also worth pointing out that Trump praised Putin's control of his country, not his foreign policy. That's something his defenders seem to ignore. Trump is helping normalize the idea that we need a dictator to get things done. Constitution be damned. I thought we just got through with 8 years of that crap. Regardless of how he goes about it. Rather than one who navigates through the messy, slow-moving swamp of small r Republican governance. In other words, within the boundaries of the United States Constitution. And he's not alone, of course. It's basically a coarser version of Obama's contention that he has a moral duty to circumvent the legislative process on issues he finds particularly important. Or Tom Friedman's notion that Red China should be praised for its commitment on climate change no matter how it gets that done. Like anyone else, there are Americans willing to embrace authoritarian methods if it means forwarding their cause, especially in the case of a national emergency. You can never let a crisis go to waste because it lets you do things you could not have otherwise done. Russia has a lot of order, but little freedom. No one has more control over his nation than North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, another communist dictator of whom Donald Trump has had kind words of admiration. And crime rates are super low in North Korea, I hear. Things get done. There's no political obstructionism. No doubt other tyrants love their people and country deeply too. No one has ever pursued the geopolitical goals of Moscow with more vigor and strength than Joseph Stalin. Would we praise him as an effective leader or patriot? Or should Obama invade Canada to show how much he cares about American interests? There are lots of expatriates up there, you know. Now, if you don't believe Obama has pursued the right foreign policy, and God knows I don't, it's not a violation of the Logan Act. That's why we have elections. But was Obama unable to conduct foreign policy because he lacked the strength? If so, then we should celebrate. Obama abuses power enough as it is. I'd hate to see what he or any other president would do with even more control. For example, Putin would never have to worry about asking the Senate to sign a self-destructive climate deal with Red China. Obama, despite all the fanfare, couldn't get it done. Would conservatives admire him more if he had found a way to make the climate deal binding in projected power and effectiveness? Well, one hopes not. But one gets the feeling that a lot of conservatives would have been just fine with that very same self-destructive climate deal with Red China if it had been Trump's proposal. The oligarchs Putin has empowered to run Russia don't help their people. Despite Russia's wealth of natural resources, the CIA puts its gross domestic product per capita right under that of French Polynesia and right above that of Aruba. The Russian state needs perpetual conflict that benefits only the powerful, one of the hallmarks of fascism. We have to live with Russia, and we may even have to partner with Russia on occasion. But once we start praising human rights violating thugs, like Donald Trump continues to do, we risk becoming accessories to their power and worse, adopting some ugly ideas. And nobody is uglier than Donald J. Trump.